That's cool. So I would just like to take a brief moment to thank my Patreons who support the channel and help make these videos possible for you all to enjoy. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Feldpost Sunday here on the World War II History and Reenacting YouTube channel. Well, it's Sunday again and it's time to see if there's any Feldpost. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1. We have en Feldpost. One envelope. But there is more. I can feel it. I think. Oh yes. We have a box. And I lost my knife. Yeah. Let's do the envelope first this time. What do you think it is? I'm gonna say what I always say. It's German World War II field kitchen related. And it is. Of course it is. Now that's different. Let's check if there's anything else in there. Nope. Now that's different. Interesting. Here we have a very rare and interesting German field kitchen photo. This is probably the Feldkoch Unteroffizier, the field cook NCO in charge of this field kitchen and the assistant cook. He is dressed in tropical or hot climate attire, which suggests this photo was taken in some kind of tropical theater of war with a warm climate. As for where exactly, my guess is as good as yours, unfortunately. Could be Italy or even Africa. His field kitchen is a regular large version of the standard German field kitchen, positively identified as the rear wagon of the HF-13 model. It appears to have been converted for motorized use, featuring a new straight axle and rubberized wheels. Similar to one of the HF-13 field kitchens in my own collection. I believe this was originally a standard horse-drawn kitchen with wooden-spoked artillery-style wheels, as mine also once was. Additionally, the kitchen is painted in a beautiful three-tone camouflage pattern. Any photograph showing a camouflage painted field kitchen is quite rare. And look, they even painted a smokestack. Note that the instruction plaques have not been painted over. Painted on the fender is an unfamiliar unit organizational symbol. I don't recognize this symbol, but my first thought is that it resembles one used by casualty transport companies. But it's not a complete match, as far as I can tell. So please let me know down in the comments if you recognize this tactical symbol. We can see that the lid of the main cooking kettle and the coffee kettle are both open. The rear stand is deployed, and the field kitchen step is dropped down into position. Some other observations include the lack of chains and padlocks for securing the various compartments, as well as the missing T-handle for the main cooking kettle firebox door, and the rock placed in front of the wheel to prevent the kitchen from rolling. You don't see that every day. That camo looks really good. Alright, let's do the box. There we go. Nicely packaged. What is it? Oh! Glass negatives are photographic images captured on sheets of glass coated with a light sensitive emulsion, rather than on flexible film, By the 1930s, they were becoming less common because newer film formats, such as cellulose film, were cheaper, lighter, and easier to use. However, glass negatives were still valued for their exceptional detail, sharpness, and stability, so they continued to be used in professional studios, scientific photography, and archival work. Now let's take a closer look at this scanned image, which reveals a beautiful studio portrait of a German pre-war soldier. This army soldier is wearing the initial 1933 pattern field blouse, and this identification is further supported by these visible stitching lines. The collar insignia are early woven collar tabs sewn onto a dark field grey fine cloth backing, with dark coloured branch piping and featuring the field grey middle stripe, which was inherited from the Reichswehr. The breast eagle appears to be of the first pattern adopted in February 1934, woven in white thread on a light field grey backing. The pointed regular field grey shoulder boards are of the initial 1933 pattern and featured an embroidered regimental number in a dark branch colour, along with an additional regimental identification loop in the form of a coloured piece of cord. So I'm no expert on reissued World War I steel helmets, let alone standard World War I helmets, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is a reissued transitional M16 or M17 German steel helmet, fitted with an army decal and M27 chin strap. And since we know that the use of Third Reich helmet decals was introduced in February of 1934, we can at least date this photo to sometime in 1934 at the earliest. However, if we take a closer look at the shoulder boards, the number 100, and the color of the thread denoting the branch of service, I think we may be able to narrow it down even further. To my knowledge, the only relevant regiment I could find with the number 100 before the outbreak of World War II was Gebirgsjägerregiment 100, a mountain infantry regiment formed in October 1935. The tone in the black and white photograph could very well match that of green, which was the branch color of the mountain troops. What do you think? So I really hope that you enjoyed this episode of Feldpost Sunday, and if you did, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next episode of Feldpost Sunday. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, auf Wiedersehen. Cool. Some cool camouflage. I like it.